Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
The area in which something exists or lives. The totality of surrounding conditions. He longed for the comfortable environment of his living room. An outer adjacent area of any place. The area in which something exists or lives. Envelop completely. Extend on all sides of simultaneously, encircle. The forest surrounds my property. The area in which something exists or lives. The country, the flat agricultural surround. Surround so as to force to give up. Surround with a wall in order to fortify. The environmental condition. The area in which something exists or lives. A demarcated area of the earth. 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 A condition or position in which you find yourself. The unpleasant situation, or position, of having to choose between two evils. A job in an organization. Physical position in relation to the surroundings. The general state of things, the combination of circumstances at a given time. The present international situation is dangerous. A complex or critical or unusual difficulty. The dangerous situation developed suddenly. The general state of things, the combination of circumstances at a given time. Wondered how such a state of affairs had come about. The local environment. He hasn't been seen around these parts in years. The context and environment in which something is set. Graphic art consisting of the graphic or photographic representation of a visual percept. He painted scenes from everyday life. A situation treated as an observable object. The religious scene in England has changed in the last century. The visual percept of a region. The painted structures of a stage set that are intended to suggest a particular locale. They worked all night painting the scenery. A display of bad temper. He made a scene. A consecutive series of pictures that constitutes a unit of action in a film. An incident, real or imaginary. Their parting was a sad scene. A subdivision of an act of a play. The first act has 3 scenes. The place where some action occurs. The police returned to the scene of the crime. The context and environment in which something is set. The perfect setting for a ghost story. Arrangement of scenery and properties to represent the place where a play or movie is enacted. The state of the environment in which a situation exists. You can't do that in a university setting. A table service for one person. A place setting of sterling flatware. A mounting consisting of a piece of metal, as in a ring or other jewelry, that holds a gem in place. The set of facts or circumstances that surround a situation or event. The physical position of something. He changed the setting on the thermostat. The atmosphere of an environment. A particular environment or surrounding influence. Usually plural, transmissions that are disseminated widely to the public. Around the middle of a scale of evaluation. Medium bombers. Bacteriology. A nutrient substance, solid or liquid, that is used to cultivate microorganisms. An occupation for which you are especially well suited. Someone who serves as an intermediary between the living and the dead. He consulted several mediums. A liquid with which pigment is mixed by a painter. A means or instrumentality for storing or communicating information. An intervening substance through which signals can travel as a means for communication. An intervening substance through which something is achieved. The dissolving medium is called a solvent. A state that is intermediate between extremes, a middle position. A happy medium. Biology. A substance in which specimens are preserved or displayed. Meat, cooked until there is just a little pink meat inside. The surrounding environment. Fish require an aqueous medium. A vessel made of material that does not melt easily, used for high-temperature chemical reactions. An environment in which many ideas and races are socially assimilated. The atmosphere of an environment. A particular environment or surrounding influence. An artifact that is one of the individual parts of which a composite entity is made up, especially a part that can be separated from or attached to a system. A component or constituent element of a system. Any of the more than 100 known substances, of which 92 occur naturally, that cannot be separated into simpler substances and that singly or in combination constitute all matter. An abstract part of something. The grammatical elements of a sentence. A straight line that generates a cylinder or cone. One of four substances thought in ancient and medieval cosmology to constitute the physical universe. The alchemists believed that there were four elements. The most favorable environment for a plant or animal. Water is the element of fishes. The situation in which you are happiest and most effective. In your element. The type of environment in which an organism or group normally lives or occurs. He felt safe on his home grounds. The type of environment in which an organism or group normally lives or occurs. A marine habitat. A situation offering opportunities. He worked both sides of the street. A thoroughfare, usually including sidewalks, that is lined with buildings. They walked the streets of the small town. People living or working on the same street. The whole street protested the absence of street lights. The part of a thoroughfare between the sidewalks. The part of the thoroughfare on which vehicles travel. Be careful crossing the street. The streets of a city viewed as a depressed environment in which there is poverty and crime and prostitution and dereliction. She tried to keep her children off the street. A part of an animal that has a special function or is supplied by a given artery or nerve. A particular geographical region of indefinite boundary, usually serving some special purpose or distinguished by its people or culture or geography. It was a mountainous area. The extent of a two-dimensional surface enclosed within a boundary. The area of a rectangle. A particular environment or walk of life. It was a closed area of employment. A part of a structure having some specific characteristic or function. The spacious cooking area provided plenty of room for servants. A subject of study. It was his area of specialization. A particular environment or walk of life. A large structure for open-air sports or entertainments. A playing field where sports events take place. The central area of an ancient Roman amphitheater where contests and spectacles were held, especially an area that was strewn with sand. Understate the importance or quality of. The part of a scene, or picture, that lies behind objects in the foreground. He posed her against a background of rolling hills. Scenery hung at back of stage. Computer science, the area of the screen in graphical user interfaces against which icons and windows appear. The state of the environment in which a situation exists. Information that is essential to understanding a situation or problem. The embassy filled him in on the background of the incident. Extraneous signals that can be confused with the phenomenon to be observed or measured. They got a bad connection and could hardly hear one another over the background signals. A person's social heritage, previous experience or training. He is a lawyer with a sports background. Relatively unimportant or inconspicuous accompanying situation. When the rain came, he could hear the sound of thunder in the background. Information that should be kept in mind when making a decision. The set of facts or circumstances that surround a situation or event. A condition that accompanies or influences some event or activity. Formal ceremony about important occasions. Pomp and circumstance. Discourse that surrounds a language unit and helps to determine its interpretation. The set of facts or circumstances that surround a situation or event. The historical context. People in general, especially a distinctive group of people with some shared interest. Mathematics, the set of values of the independent variable for which a function is defined. The content of a particular field of knowledge. A particular environment or walk of life. Territory over which rule or control is exercised. His domain extended into Europe. The branch of biology concerned with the relations between organisms and their environment. The environment as it relates to living organisms. It changed the ecology of the island. A branch of knowledge. A particular kind of commercial enterprise. They are outstanding in their field. The area that is visible, as through an optical instrument. A particular environment or walk of life. The space around a radiating body within which its electromagnetic oscillations can exert force on another similar body not in contact with it. A piece of land prepared for playing a game. The home crowd cheered when Princeton took the field. A place where planes take off and land. Extensive tract of level open land. He longed for the fields of his youth. A region where a battle is being, or has been, fought. They made a tour of Civil War battlefields. A region in which active military operations are in progress. The army was in the field awaiting action. A geographic region, land or sea, under which something valuable is found. The diamond fields of South Africa. All of the horses in a particular horse race. All the competitors in a particular contest or sporting event. Answer adequately or successfully. The lawyer fielded all questions from the press. A piece of land cleared of trees and usually enclosed. He planted a field of wheat. Catch or pick up balls in baseball or cricket. Computer science. A set of one or more adjacent characters comprising a unit of information. Mathematics. A set of elements such that addition and multiplication are commutative and associative and multiplication is distributive over addition and there are two elements 0 and 1. The set of all rational numbers as a field. Play as a fielder. Select a team or individual player for a game. The Buckeyes fielded a young new quarterback for the Rose Bowl. Somewhere, away from a studio or office or library or laboratory, where practical work is done or data is collected. Anthropologists do much of their work in the field. Baseball. Base consisting of a rubber slab where the batter stands. It must be touched by a base runner in order to score. He ruled that the runner failed to touch home. An institution where people are cared for. A home for the elderly. A social unit living together. The teacher asked how many people made up his home. Inside the country. Where you live at a particular time. Deliver the package to my home. The place where you are stationed and from which missions start and end. Housing that someone is living in. They raise money to provide homes for the homeless. An environment offering affection and security. Home is where the heart is. Place where something began and flourished. The United States is the home of basketball. Provide with, or send to, a home. Return home accurately from a long distance. The country or state or city where you live. Canadian tariffs enabled United States lumber companies to raise prices at home. Used of your own ground. A home game. Relating to or being where one lives or where one's roots are. My hometown. The environmental condition.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.